Welcome to day 6 in our January daily devotions. My name is Mark, and today we're going to talk about what you don't see. Have you ever thought about thanking and praising God for the things that you do not see? We spend a fair amount of time dreaming and planning and preparing for our futures, but I'd be willing to bet that most of us haven't really taken a lot of time to pray about unforeseen details or consider the idea that God is always on the move. He is always working things out for His glory and for the good of all of His people. But there are times that we don't see things, but God is still working behind the scenes. The Apostle Paul writes to the early Roman Christians about this very same idea, and he encourages the Romans to pray to God for what they do not see. And in the meantime, Paul encouraged them to pray for patience. Maybe some of you have spent years praying for a wayward child or a dear friend or somebody that's drifted away from the faith, or even freedom and salvation of an older relative, maybe even someone going into hospice and you know that they've not lived their life the way they should, and so you pray for them. But in all of these situations, we pray with a confidence in God for things that we don't see. We hope for them, we pray for them, but we don't see them. This kind of prayer practice will increase our patience, and it will encourage us to live with hope as we focus on God's priorities. So we must develop the practice of praying for things that we cannot see on a consistent basis. In Romans chapter 8, verses 18 to 30, the Romans were praying for something that they could not see. There are times that we pray for things that we can't see, but we pray in the Spirit for God to do the work and to work things out in our own lives. There's times that there are the unknowns of life, sometimes the unseen things we think about, we worry about on a consistent basis. And these are things that may come to pass or they may not come to pass, but we worry about them. We are fearful of future dreams or even current conditions that are going on in our lives. But I would like to challenge you today to turn your unknowns into a prayer of praise to God. And as a result of God's promise, we understand that God works everything for our good. And so we need to make a list. Sometimes we make a list of unknowns, the unknown things that we don't know how the end is going to come out, and then make a list of known things and try to make the list equal. So you're praying for unknown things and you're praying for known things. And as you pray, understand that with the promises of God, God can fulfill as many unknown requests or unknown things that you don't know the answer as He can for things that you do think you know the answer. This could perhaps be the most difficult part of prayer, but it also could be the most rewarding as we turn our fears of the unknown into praise and the promises of God. This has been the Downtown Church Daily Devotional for the month of January.